Um, all right. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. It's New Year's Day, and I really appreciate you joining me today for our paper pumpkin class. We are going to make one of each of the projects from the December kit, which is called Watercolor in Bloom. And we're going to go ahead and get started. We've got some people on the call, and I know some people will be watching on replay, so welcome. All right. So here we go. So I don't know about you. I don't know if you've opened it. I love, 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 love this kit. It is so just perfect. It's just a perfect kit. So anyway, it comes with a stamp set. Oh, and I have a little boo-boo. So I'm sorry, I have a Band-Aid on my finger. Anyway, it happened during the party today, right? Just trying to serve food. That's what happens. Anyway, so it comes with a lovely stamp set that has lots of things in it that we are going to use almost every single one of in this class. And you have your block, and it comes with a Night of Navy little spot. And as usual, I'm going to use my full-size pad. Okay, just so that you know that's what I'm doing. I save these and I do give them away to new stampers who are trying to build up their collection of stamps. And I went ahead and I pulled out my instructions so that we can go through this properly. So we also have dimensionals, which is always good. And we have these beautiful little gems. And these gems they're not gold. They're kind of like a bronze. And I'm calling them gems, but really, if you look at them, they're sequins. And there is a difference between gems and sequins. So they, kind of lift up at the edges, but very pretty. And they add a lot of glitz to the cards that we're going to be making. Okay. So you can see I use my own dimensionals. It also comes with tear and tape, and this seems to be the norm now that they're adding tear and tape as opposed to the other little glue dots and such, because this is a lot easier to work with. And I do think it's a good idea. But even so, I'm going to hoard my tear and tape as I always do, and I'm just going to just use my regular Stampin' Seal, but please feel free to use the tear and tape that's provided, or whatever your favorite adhesive is. It doesn't need to be the tear and tape. Tear and tape tends to be a very strong adhesive, and these cards don't really call for anything particularly strong. So, all right, so let's take out our packet, and I'm just going to get rid of my box. And we can open it up, and as you know, I try to keep everything in order so that we can pull things out and put them in piles. So we're going to put them in our piles. So the very first item coming out of the gate is this little card that has already printed the little foliage, which can take a long time if you're trying to do that on your own. This is actually going to go with card number 3. So I'm going to put it in a little pile over here for card number 3. I'm going to put the rest away because we're making one of each. Now next, they have all the envelopes. Look how pretty these are. They have the foliage already at the bottom, and they are going to be beautiful to mail all of your cards. I'm just going to go ahead and put them aside. We are not going to stamp or do anything with the envelopes. All right, so we'll put that aside. Okay, next up, we have this pretty card base. You can see that it's already scored in the middle. The other side is white, so the inside of your card is white, and this is going to be card number 2. So that goes in pile number 2. If I'm going too fast, let me know. All right, we're going to go ahead and put the others aside. Again, we're just making one. Next up, we have a sheet of some die cuts. And from this, we are going to punch out one of the ovals, and that oval is going to go with card number 2. The square, one of the squares, there are 2 there. That square is going to go with card number 1, which we don't have anything else for yet. And then finally, we're going to take this long strip, and this goes with card number 3. And you see that I already made one sample of each just to make sure that I knew exactly how to do this for this class and see if there was anything we need to know. So I'm going to get rid of the rest of mine, but you need to save the rest of yours. And there is a second sheet of those as well. So save that for your others. Okay.
Where did you put the label?
So we have a square here, the oval here,
right,
and the long, skinny one on number 3.
Got it.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so the next sheet has all of these different printed ones. So we are going to, so these will cover all 3 cards. So let's be careful as we go through. We're going to punch out first a large flower. So there are 3 flowers, a large, a medium, this is the medium, and then this is the small. So let's start with the largest flower. And that largest flower is going to go with card number 2. Next up, let's go to I'm just going to jump over to the medium flower just so that we get the flowers out of the way. The medium flower is going to go with card number 3. And the teeny flower, the smallest one, it goes with card number 1, which we don't have anything else yet for except for that square. Okay. So next, let's go, I'm just going to go around. So we have these 2 leaves. One is Coastal Cabana or maybe Pool Party and Secret Sea. We're going to punch that one out. And that one goes with card number 3. Then we have the larger one, which looks like that. And that one goes to card number 1. So I'm trying to go nice and slowly so that we can all sort this out, because that is really the most important part of this. If once we get that, we're good to go. We can just assemble it from there, really. Finally, the last ones are these, there's a like spriggy kind of thing, and then some leaves. I know, it's all technical terms at this point. And then we're going to punch that out, and that will go with card number 2. Okay. That's what we have going on each one. Hopefully that's easy to see. And you're going to save all the rest of those for your other cards that you're going to make. How are we doing? We good?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Okay, our next one is our card base. It's this beautiful stripe. Look at that. So great. And that's going to be the card base for card number 1. Okay, so I'm sliding it under the other things we've already put in that pile. And I'll put the other ones to the side. The next sheets there are 3 sheets of our vellum. So you're going to just take 1 sheet of the vellum, put the rest to the side. Now these are a little fragile, only that they just kind of fall out right out of the what's been cut. So we're going to take the largest piece, which is that rectangle, and that's going to go with card number 1. And I only use that because that was the one that fell out first. Then I'm going to go over to the smaller rectangle, and I'm going to carefully punch that out. Got that, like that. And then that's going to go to card number 3. And finally, out of that same sheet of vellum, we're going to punch out the die cut for the oval, and that goes with card number 2. So right there. Okay, so that's our vellum. Next up in our package, we have another striped card base. This has fewer colors, and that is the card base for card number 3. So I'm just going to slide that underneath just so that we can all see everything, what we need. And we're going to take that extra ones you have and put them aside for the other cards you'll make. And just with the vellum, we have 3 sheets of these beautiful die cuts that have these accents on them, these foil accents, and they're more like a bronze. I actually don't know if they say what color. I'm going to call them bronze. And so you're going to only need 1 sheet of those. And they might stick together a little bit like mine are, just because the die cuts, they literally are falling out. So I'm putting the other ones to the side, and I'm coming up with my 1 sheet, and you can see this one's fallen out. So I'm going to go ahead and take that out. So it's the smaller rectangle, and that goes with card number 3. The beautiful oval that has all that intricate die cutting along the sides, that goes to card number 2. And then the long one with all those intricate dies on the sides as well, except in a rectangle form, that goes with card number 1. And that is everything from your packet. So you are ready to get going. Everybody good?
Yes.
Yes. If we go nice and slowly, we tend to have much more success than if we try to rush through. Okay, so let's start with card number 1, and I'm just following along with our instructions. So if you have any questions, or you want to see what's going on or what's coming next, you can just take a look at that. All right, I have a little beverage here. Starting to lose my voice a little bit, I think, from talking over 14 other people for the last couple of hours. All right, so we have card number 1 is our beautiful striped card. So I'm going to go ahead and fold that. So you can do that. And that's just, I'm just folding it just really, honestly, to get it out of the way. All right. So we'll put that over there, and we're going to build from there. But let's do our stamping first. So the pieces that we're going to stamp on are the square, or it's not really a square, actually. It's a rectangle. Not exactly right. And then we also have our the long piece that has the foiling on it, and we're going to stamp on all of those. Okay, so let's grab our stamp set and a block and our ink pad. Word right out. So I really, this is going to be a very versatile stamp set. I know I think I say it every month, and I'm not trying to be glib. I just really do believe that these are great to keep on hand to do so many different things with. So this one, they made it a Miss You So Much card. So we're going to stamp the Miss You first, or I'm going to stamp the Miss You first. You can do whichever you prefer. And I'm using my, big ink pad just because I have it. And I'm going to ink it up, and I'm going to stamp this right onto the square, or almost square. Trying to get it nice and straight. I might not. And to be honest, I haven't been cleaning the stamps. We're using pretty much every single one of them, and they're all being done in the Night of Navy. So I'm just going with it. So the next stamp that we're going, actually, what I need to do, what I learned when I made my samples, is I'm just going to keep it open. And I'm just putting that back, and I'm going to take out this sprig. So it's the one that's the largest sprig that is in the set. Putting that on my block, and I'm going to ink that up, and that's going to go on our vertical strip. Why I'm doing it in this order, I don't know. It's just how it's coming out today. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp that towards the top, but not at the very top of this strip. Okay. Then I'm going to remove that. There are several stamps on this, but we're going to be okay. Then we're also going to, because I should have done this before, but this is the So Much, and that's kind of in a scripty font. So you've got the nice mix of fonts, which is so pleasing to the eye. You've got the, this has serifs and it's lowercase, and then this one, So Much, is a script. You're going to go ahead and ink that up and line it up just underneath the Miss You. I miss you so much. And that's what that ends up looking like. Okay, so then I'm going to take that off, put it back on my sheet, and then we've got some different little, we've got a bunch of different little leaves. And for this particular card, and I'm going to tell you, when I did it on my own, I used the wrong one at first. This card, according to their instructions, uses, I'm going to put it on my block, uses the rounded leaves. So if you take a look at the rounded leaves and mount them on, we're going to stamp this 2 different times. The first time is going off in this direction, and we're just going to do that. And we're going to do it again, just going in the opposite direction. Nothing fancy, I'm just turning my block, and I'm going to lay it down right there. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's going to end up in the background of what we're making, but it is a nice, I personally like that look. I don't know if you do, but I do. So that is all the stamping on this card. I like to do the stamping first, get it out of the way. When they do the videos for the kits from Stampin' Up, they tend to, they do all the stamping for all 3 cards at the same time. That's a little much for me. I have to be able to see, like, where is it going? What am I trying to do? So I just do 1 card at a time. So that is all the stamping. Everybody good with that?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Wonderful job. Okay, so now we can put it all together. Now what they did is they took the piece that we just stamped on and they adhered it to the vellum. Now when they adhered it to the vellum, you'll see that it sticks out a little bit on each side. Can you see that? And so it's actually, I'm going to turn it over so that you can see. There's only a tiny bit that shows, okay, on each side of what we just stamped. So I don't know. I think I might have done it a little differently, but I'm going to just go with what they did, and I'm going to use my regular adhesive, my Stampin' Seal, and I am going to put 3 lines of adhesive, and I'm going to secure that to the back. So I'm lining it up at the top. I'm trying to make sure it's centered. Not always so good with that, especially after a long day. But you can see through the back, that's what it's going to end up looking like. So we just have that little bit of vellum shining, coming through. And it just gives it that little extra. Makes it look like, like a full layer, something really substantial. But really, it's just a little piece of vellum. And once you have that, we're going to just put more adhesive. And we're just using regular adhesive for this. And so again, I'm just using 3 lines of adhesive. Let's see if I can show you. Yep, you can kind of see where my 3 lines are. And I'm going to now adhere this to the card front. And when I do this, I'm trying to make sure that it is centered. Okay. And so this is what we are hoping to end up with. So give me a thumbs up when you've gotten to that point. I know I kind of brushed through that. All right. Great. Okay. Wonderful. All right. So now we are going to move on to our stamped piece here. And this, on this one, we are going to, I need to find my, my sample just so that I make sure I do it correctly. All right, what we want to do is adhere this piece to the very top of where we stamp the Miss You. Okay, now it's okay if you come off the edge. So you can use just your regular adhesive or your tear and tape, which is what comes with it. And we're just going to just glue that right to the top and try to get it straight. So we have Miss You so much with some little foliage at the top. And then once we have that, we are going to turn it over and we're going to use our dimensionals because why not, right? And I'm actually using a full sheet of one. You can't imagine how many sheets of dimensionals I have sitting here. For whatever reason, with the way the fall went, I used a lot. We have lots of partial sheets of dimensionals. So I'm just going to use 3. You could use 4, 6, whatever makes sense to you, but I'm just going to use 3. And then I'm going to peel off the backing. And this is going to go onto the front of the card. And what we want to do is position it so that we can see just a little bit of those stamped elements that we adhered. And we want to make sure that it's centered because that's something I did not do when I first did my sample card. You want to make sure that you've got it centered. So I've got a little bit going on over here, a little bit sticking out over here. Got my foliage just coming out just ever so slightly. That is how that goes. And then we're just going to take our little flower, which they so nicely printed on for us. We're going to use one dimensional, put it on the back. It's perfectly sized to fit. Just so nice of them. And that goes right at confluence. I'm going to use that word because I think it's fun. Right up those leaves and just put it right there in the middle. Now what's lovely about this card is the little bits of foiling that has been done. And it just goes to show that a little bit goes a very long way. You don't need a lot to make things stand out. And so if we take our gems now, or our sequins, which is what they actually are, sequins, they are the same color as the foiling. And we're just going to go ahead and add them to the card. I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool. And it's so nice of them to start. Now they're really designing things where you use 1 big and 2 small because, you know, that's what I use normally on a card. And I think they've caught on to the fact that that's kind of what we do. So we have 1 big one here, 1 small one here, and I'm going to put another small one over here. So it's kind of a tight triangle, but it's still a little triangle. And that is everything for card number 1. I'm getting so many messages on my Facebook while we're sitting here. So how'd we do?
Okay.
Good.
It's a shame that the vellum you can't even see.
Sorry?
It's a shame that you can't see the vellum.
Yeah, it's just barely there, right? I know. I think I would have done it a little bit differently, but that is how they designed it. So I'll go with it for this. So for your for the other projects that you have, if you want, here's a suggestion. I would just cut strips of the vellum and put them and let them stick out a little bit more. That's what I would do, so that you could see more of it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. but it's still very pretty. Okay, so that's card number 1. So let's move on to card number 2. So here are our pieces. So we'll do our stamping first, just as we did before. And again, it has several things that we're going to be stamping. So actually, we're stamping them all on the same piece. And that piece is this little, or this oval. I don't know if it's big or little, I don't know. Okay, so we're going to start with thank you. And that's what they did for this card. And we're going to be putting it towards the top. Pick that up. So I've got my thank you. And my ink pad. Last mat is very loud. So I'm just going to stamp it right at the top, and I want to try to make sure I get it pretty straight. Well, I've got the thank you. Okay. So we're going for thank you first, and then it has a little bit of a saying, and that's what I like about this one is that it's more than just like a single sentiment. So this one says, the little things you do for me mean so much. And so that's the biggest stamp that we have. And we're going to be stamping that right underneath the thank you. So we're going to tap, tap, tap. And I'm going to try to get this straight. All right. Thank you. The little things you do for me mean so much. Just a nice sentiment. Once you've got that on there, we're going to be going to yet another one of the little leaves. So we've used the longest one, then we used the middle-sized one, and now we're going to use kind of the smallest one. I really wish I knew botany and could tell you what they were called, but I have no idea. So we're going with this one. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little leaves on it. And we're going to be stamping this one twice. So the first one gets stamped on the curve, like so. And the second one is just going to get stamped as if it's just continuing on, and they kind of cross over. So that is what we want it to look like when we're done. And that's all the stamping on it. So it has 3 stamps, the thank you, the little things you do for me mean so much, and then the little tiny leaves. So give me a thumbs up when you've got that done. Great. Great. I know it takes a minute or two to get all of the pieces in place and make sure you get everything inked up properly. Great. Okay. All right. Fabulous. Okay, so let's move on. And now we're going to start our adhering. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put adhesive on the back of this. This is all just regular adhesive. You can be using your tear and tape or whatever you normally use. And we're going to stick this right down to our the one that has the foiling and the beautiful laser cut edge. And it fits right in the middle there, especially when you do it straight. That's what I was trying to avoid. I'm a little crooked. Happens. It happens. Get a little crooked, a little sideways. And then this is going to get adhered to the front of the vellum oval. Now this one, you can actually see it does protrude past the edges of the little leaves, which is nice. So unlike the first one where most of it was hidden, this one we actually get to see. So that's what that ends up looking like. And I didn't do it before, but we want to fold our card. Make sure we give it a nice crease. And on the front of the card, we're going to take that oval that we just did, and we are going to adhere it down. And we are going to use just regular adhesive. Now, when we put it on the back, make sure you're not going past the edges because the adhesive will show through. So you don't want to go past the edges of where the die cut is because it will show through the vellum. So you want to be careful of that. There we go. Beautiful. Joel, excuse me for 1 second. We have a little bit going on out here. Excuse me. So we had to send Jules today to a friend's house. She likes it there. She likes when she goes there, but she knows she missed something. She's not sure what, but she missed something. All right. So now we're going to take our die cut that is already pre-printed, and we're going to use a dimensional on the back of that, or two if you'd like. And I just used one. It's just me. And we're going to put this so that it covers just the bottom left corner, and that one piece sticks up through between the two leaves that we stamped. So that's done with a dimensional or two. And then we'll take that big flower, and we're going to use, they used regular adhesive for this so that it doesn't have too many layers on it. And they use the tear and tape, but it's just going to cover up that edge. And so you've just got a little bit sticking out all from all sides. That's what that looks like. So pretty. One thing that they do make available is, you know, there are refill kits that you can purchase. And I don't always do this, but I am ordering these because I think my seniors are going to love making these cards. I think that they're just gorgeous and really very simple. So then we're just going to add our gems, and they made a very tight triangle again where they used one big one, one small one, and then one more small one up over here.
Brenda, you put dimensionals under the plant and then again under the flower, so it's double?
No, I just did under the plant.
Okay, thank you.
And then it's just flat adhesive there. Sorry for 1 second. Jules. She's trying to get my attention.
Hello, Jules.
I know, she's not close enough. Oh, poor thing. You know, I'm sure my friends petted her for the entire 3 hours she was there. So I don't know what she's complaining about. So anyway, so that's card number 2. What do you guys think? Good?
Nice.
Yeah. All right. So the final card, this one I think is my personal favorite. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to fold this one in half just so that I can put it aside, which I didn't do on the last one, but that is normally what I do. And we are going to stamp on this one on both this, I'm sorry, not this piece, because that's what I did the first time when I did my sample card. We're going to stamp on the one that doesn't have foil on it, okay? So the one that doesn't have foil. And then also we are going to stamp just a teeny bit on here, on the pretty card that's already pre-printed. They're letting us stamp one little thing on there. So this card, they made it a dear friend, you make me feel loved, which I just love. I think I'm going to have to send these to my girlfriends that were here today. So we're going to do dear friend first. And we put that on my block. dear friend. And my ink pad. And this is just going to go at the top of that strip. Now, when they designed this card, could we have just stamped straight onto here? Yes, we could have, right? They left us the space for it. But by doing so, a little bit of creative layering, it's going to make it stand out and look just that much prettier. Whoops. Right. Okay, so the next thing is You Make Me Feel Loved. So you're going to take that out. Now, this is a long stamp, and when I have the size of this block, it does, you could go straight across, but what I like to do is I like to put it on an angle so that when I go to stamp it, I can kind of see the edges better. It just works for me. And we're going to put it right underneath. I'm going to try to center it. And try to make it straight. You make me feel loved. And if they do love you enough, they won't care that you're a little to the left, like I am. I can only hope they're not going to care. A little to the left. And then the very last stamp, we've used every single stamp. So guess what? We're using that very last one. We don't always use every single stamp, but we are going to use this little teeny tiny one. And I'm actually going to put mine in the corner just because it helps me figure out where it goes. And it also helps me line things up. And we're going to stamp this twice on this card. And it's actually going to go in this little space. They left us a space so that we could stamp with our Night of Navy right in there. And I'm going to turn it over so that I can stamp it exactly the same way. You could also just turn your block in order to do that. And there we go. That is all the stamping. And like I said, we very rarely use every single stamp that they give us, but we did this time. Well done. Well done. So those are the two pieces that we have stamped. So when you are ready and have all that done, give me a thumbs up so that I know. There's no rush. Great. Awesome. Take another sip of my water here. I have like 4 cups of water that I started, like I move around the house and then I'm like, what did I do with my water? And I take another one. They're all here. So. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and now we can assemble our card. So we've got all these pieces here. Get them all lined up so that we can do it together. And the first thing we're going to do is we are going to adhere this piece that has that stripe on it, that foiled stripe. And using regular adhesive, so not dimensionals, we're going to adhere this down in that space in between. And you can see it doesn't go all the way to the edge.
On the vellum? Is it on the vellum?
Nope. It goes right onto this piece.
Okay.
So, yeah, it gets adhered straight down. We haven't gotten to the vellum yet. Oh, wait a second. Hang on. Yes, this was supposed to be on the vellum. Even when I did my sample card, I didn't do it that way. Oopsie daisy. Sheila, thank you. I'm so sorry, everyone. She is right. This goes on the vellum. I'm so sorry about that. Funny, when I look at the instructions, when I look at the card, you can just barely see that vellum shining through. The good news is it peels up pretty quick, pretty easily. So yes, this is what it ends up looking like. And then the vellum is actually going to have 3 dimensionals on the back of it. And then we're going to put that into that space where I was originally having you put the other piece. So. That's good. 3 dimensionals on the back. And then we're going to put that onto the front. Oh, that looks so much better. So much more interest that way. So again, the vellum is on with dimensionals, and then this strip that has the stripes on it is on with regular adhesive. And then we can take what we stamped and we're going to put it right in between those stripes. And we're going to use regular adhesive for that. Nice. Yeah. Much better. The sample that I did before. No, I did do it correctly. Huh. Okay. And then that card is going to get adhered to the card front with the stripes with dimensionals. So they use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to use 5 because that's just how I roll. But you can certainly use the 9 that they recommend. I don't know. I feel like it holds it up high enough. If it's going to go through the mail and get squashed, it doesn't matter how many dimensionals I have. It's going to happen anyway. But that's just my opinion. I love dimensionals. So more is always good. Okay. But we're not done yet. So the one thing that we are going to do is take our pretty little leaves, and we could have put it behind, but I'm going to go ahead and put them on top. I just think I like the way that looks. I can let it hang over a little bit. That's me. You can do it whichever way that you like, but I'm just using regular adhesive and putting it over. And you might be saying, well, that's not very exciting having these things sticking out, but our cute little flower is going to come in and cover it up. And we're going to use regular adhesive for that. So that's how mine looks. If you wanted to, you could have stuck this behind and kept everything on the plane of the card. I like that it crosses the plane over here, me personally. If you like it more symmetrical, keep it all within the white card. And then last thing on this card is to use our gems again, and this is done in the more traditional way, if you will. So we're going to make a triangle where we use a big one and a small one down here, and then we're going to draw the eye all the way up and across the card up here, and there we have it. That is card number 3. So I think these are all pretty easy cards, and I love the blues. I just think that the colors just make everything stand out, and I love that it's not gold. I love that it's like a bronze or brass or orangey kind of color. Where's my other card? Okay. So what do you think? Which one is your favorite? Let me know.
This one, the last one.
The last one. So this one is your favorite.
I like
Which one, Lynn?
the first one.
The first one. That is Miss You So Much. So pretty. I do love the way that is.
Well, I changed it to thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, great.
I like the
Sharon?
middle one.
Oh, see that? We're all different. And Beth, tiebreaker, you're on mute.
The first one.
You like the first one. Okay, awesome. Cool. Well, let's see some other projects that other people have made, because I do have that queued up. Oops, I gotta share my screen. Hang on. Come back. All right. Share. So Sharon, at the end of each class, I like to share a bunch of projects that other people have shared with other demonstrators and Paper Pumpkin subscribers have shared on social media. And I pick out a bunch that have appealed to me personally, and I show them, and then I also attach them in the PDF that I attach and they send out afterwards. So this is our very own Allison Ephraim. I texted her this morning and said, hey, or last night, I guess, and I said, Happy New Year, but do you have all your your alternative projects ready? And she always does. She does 2 or 3 different YouTube lives where she shows the different projects that she makes. So these are all alternatives using the product that's included in the kit. So I always love her selections and what she creates.
And she adds other elements.
Yeah. Everybody, yeah. When you're making the alternative projects, you tend to have to bring in other elements from, like your stash kind of thing. But it's just other ways to use what you've got. So like here, she cut a card base in half and used half of it on this card, half of it on that card. Yeah, so different ideas. This one is from Brian, and he made it into a fun fold card. We've done this one quite a few times where you have that flap and the 2 1-inch pieces on the sides. I love that look. Love
really
what he
pretty.
did with it. Yep. Next up is Carolyn, and she, one of the things that I like that she and some other, I think the next one did is look how she made this smaller. See how this is smaller? And all she did was cut it and made it the size she wanted and covered up the seam with foliage, right? So that you can't tell that she made it smaller. Same thing over here. She just cut it. And the bottom is the normal bottom, but then she could use the other part, which would be up here, on another card. So I love the way that she did that. I thought that was very creative. This one, again, same thing. She cut it down and she had a stamp that fit in there perfectly and just cut it, and then was able probably to make 2 cards out of, using that one piece.
It looks like she embossed the vellum.
Well, this one, I was just going to say,
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. The other thing that she did is that, yes, she did emboss the vellum on this card. So that's another thing that you could be doing. And here, down here, she die cut the card fronts as opposed to just, straight cutting them. Those are the branching out dies. And look, she even put the little stamps in the corners to fill it out. So I thought these were creative uses of the pieces that we received. All right. This one, she used the card bases as designer series paper. And I think this is a perfect use of these pieces. Very beachy, right? And when you look at it, you say, oh yeah, they are kind of beachy, right? And so she created a scrapbook page using that. And then she also, see how this is, you can barely see it, but right here is the seam between the 2 different die cuts that were included, but she only used, so she probably used 1 and cut it in half, and then could use the edges as the bottom here. So again, a very creative use of that die cut that they provided. This one I thought was really clever because she used the negative space as the background on this one. When I first saw it, I didn't think twice about it. And then I was going through again and I said, wait a second, look what she did there. That was
I
really
love
clever.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, really clever. And she just used some greenery from another die set. I don't know which one that one is, but we have several that look like kind of like that.
Mm.
So Laura Siki, she does lots and lots of alternative projects, and that just happened to be the one that stuck out to me this time. This is Linda Gantz, and she just made it into a fun fold and just added pieces, and she made this a pop-up piece. So if anybody has the pop-up petals bundle, it kind of teaches you how to make a pop-up. So anything could be popped up, really.
And
so
you're going to teach us.
Yeah, and I'm going to teach you in the class on in the middle of the month if you signed up for the petals pop-up petals class. So it's very, very easy when you have all the directions. So anyway, that's what that is. And then this one is Robin Carter. She always has lots of great ideas, and she used lots of other stamps, but these flowers are all part of the supplemental die cuts, the dies themselves that you can get. I'll show them to you in a second. But they not only did it have great Christmas ones, but it also had these little flowers in it, which makes it in this little leaf here. So makes it very fun. And again, same thing, the leaves and the little flowers. That die set for Paper Pumpkin subscribers is only $12, and you get lots of different things that you could use on lots of different things. And then this one is actually from Stampin' Up. It was on their website, and they just embossed the bottom here, and they used some of the die cuts that were in and printed in the Paper Pumpkin kit, and then added some extra flowers and used the gems inside the flowers. And this is totally my style. So I love this card, so I had to share it. So those are just some fun ideas of different things that you can do. There are many, many more ideas out there. I'm trying to go back to, how do I remove my,
Brenda, can I ask you, how do you store the stamps from these sets?
How do I store them? Actually, let me go back over. So what I do is I take in the very back, when you open up your kit and you find your instructions, right behind the instructions is this sheet.
Right, I saw it.
Yeah. And so the idea behind the sheet is that you fold it in half right on that score line, and then you put your stamps inside there. And then what I do is I just store it in gotta get my top piece here. Right. I just fold them up, put them like that, and then I store them in actually it's a ribbon holder from Stampin' Up that we have. Going over. So we have these different storage sets. So you can store, normally I'd store ribbon in there, but for this particular one, I store my Paper Pumpkin.
Okay, thank you.
So that's how I store them. And then on my top little shelf, I store the dies that you can purchase, because of course I have to have all of them. And the most current one is Abundant Joy die, which is the one that I guess it's not available anymore, so I'm not even going to show it to you. But the one for the upcoming series of Paper Pumpkin kits. Oh my gosh, it wouldn't be that hard to open. It's called.
Is this for the Valentine's one?
It does have Valentine. Let's see. Called Spring is in the Air dies, and so every quarter we have dies that coordinate with three different kits. So This one has a big heart because it does coordinate with the kit that's going to be for February. It has this little bee and then this, is that right?
Very nice.
So I think this is the most current. I did order them just so that I could show them here. But you can see I have so many of them now that, I think, So I think this is the most current one. And so then this is going to cut out something that is in a stamp. So I don't know what that is. And probably that will as well. So again, this little add-on is only $12 and you get all these different stamps that you can use with the kits or, separately. So anyway, that's how I store my stamps though. And my dies.
And we can get on and order those add-ons. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Okay.
And you can only order the add-ons if you are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber.
Okay.
So that's kind of like a little extra advantage. So Spring is in the Air dies. 166237. So if you just look up Paper Pumpkin or add-on, if you just do add-on, the most recent one will come up. And sometimes they have leftovers from previous quarters, and so they might be available too. But that is how I store them all. Any other questions?
No, thank you so much.
No problem.
It's a really beautiful kit.
Yes, this is great. I think that my seniors are going to love it. So when you order the refill kit, it's only $13.50, and you get everything except the stamp set and the ink spot because you already have it. You don't need that. So it makes it very very cost effective. So I'm going to be doing that and letting them play, and I think they're going to love it. So anyway, and I hope you love it too. So anyway, thank you so much. Thank you for joining me on New Year's Day. Happy New Year. I hope 2020.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Yeah, I know. And I didn't know what I was going to get, if anybody was going to be able to be on, but I guess the big thing is New Year's Eve for most people. For me, it's New Year's Day. Today was quite the day, but we got it done. So I'm very happy to see you all, and I hope I will see you soon. Classes next week in person. Lots of my new Zoom class is in my newsletter. If you receive my newsletter, it has the details on that. So Lynn, did you have any other questions about that?
No, I'll talk to you privately about it.
Okay. Yeah. So my Zoom class, which I do on the 4th Tuesday of the month, it used to just be a straight class where you just got all the supplies to make the very simple cards. And now it's going to just cost a little bit more, and you're going to get a lot of product to go with it. So I've made that change.
What happens if you don't need any more product?
I know. Yeah, well, that's why it's consumable product. So it's stuff that you'll use in the class, and then if you have leftovers, I know. I do have some people in that situation, but hopefully there'll be things that you can use on other projects that you have. So I'll try not to make it wasteful. So, but I do understand your concern. I do. But in order to
it's not the cost so much.
Yeah, I understand.
I don't need anything else.
Yeah. Well, we can make, we can see about that. I don't know. Have to look into it, but I need to step up my sales in order to progress. And one way that has been suggested to me to do it is to do more things with products. And I don't want to make people buy stamp sets if they don't want them. I have a lot of people who are in that situation that don't want stuff. But if I make it stuff that you can use, then maybe it's a little bit more palatable for those people. And then the other people who like to get stuff to play with and things are happy too. So trying to find that happy medium. That's what I'm going for there.
Okay, well, I'm going to leave because I'm losing power.
Okay.
Take it easy. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you as
Thank
well.
you.
Thanks,
Bye, Ben.
everyone. Bye.